Youth. The word youth is a very big message. And let's start in a way from spiritual perspective. Most of the prophets that came, they started within the bracket of youth of the classification of that time. At the age of 40, Prophet Muhammad became prophet and a leader. At the cradle, Jesus to Christians became a leader appointed or anointed by God Almighty. So it is not age that determines who becomes a leader or which quality of leadership one should be. Today, scientifically, the whole world has acknowledged that of all the numerous qualities of leadership on earth today, the last one is youthfulness. It doesn't matter if an individual is old, but so long in his heart he is youthful, his thinking, his conduct, his direction, then it is certain that that leader is productive, is vibrant, irrespective of age, even if he is 100 plus. But so long he is useful at heart, that is a leader that must be acknowledged and worked with. Today, there is a new policy that changed from 2019, when the age bracket for youth was between ages 18 to 38. By 2019, they changed it from 18 to 29. That is the current policy as at today. So looking at some of you, I may not see, because it's wrong to say you are gauging someone's age by looking at his face, because my yardstick of doing so is our respected chairman. He is looking the way he was. I don't see any difference. Vibrant in his heart, his youthful look and youthful face and youthful thinking. Extremely productive. And before I go into my own submissions, let me say I ask questions. International Youth Day in Nigeria today, I ask, is there any institution in government or outside government and anywhere in between the four corners of Nigeria that has gathered the youth to think and to celebrate with them? Why this chairman? How come he's the only one with this initiative? Even if it means assembling only 1, 2, 3 young ones and passing the message and celebrating with them today, the weight of this thoughtfulness is enormous. So I want you to please acknowledge him sincerely. Let's give him a standing ovation. Please be on your feet and acknowledge. Please be seated. Thank you. I can imagine having the chairman as the president of Nigeria. Then all I can say is that, chairman, when you are providing leadership, please weight your gauge, because you may end up turning all our youth into ajabotas out of enjoyment. It is true, the youth, anywhere they are, in any given country, they are the real agents of change and transformation. This was mentioned and elaborated by the first speaker. So for me, I'm only adopting and then skipping some deliberately. Before I talk about the youth, let me talk of another important thing so that you can understand where you are first. In the whole, if you look at the global map and look at countries, starting from Nigeria, countries that are endowed by God Almighty are assessed from what is at the surface of that country. Take away the people, look at the land, how vast, how fertile the rivers, the location of that country within the global map, the character of the people, what is beneath the earth in terms of resources. That is how rich countries are recognized and appreciated. If you do the same for Nigeria and you do the same for Africa, definitely you will see that Nigeria is indeed a very rich country. So also extend similar approach to Africa, you will know that this is a very rich continent. And then if you do so, look at the entire other continents, then you realize that enriching the world from this yardstick of identifying resources in a country, then definitely Nigeria is there at the top. One may ask, why is Nigeria this poor? Why is poverty at this rate? Why is the inflation rate this high? Why are the youth looking at hopelessness in the horizon? How come we are not making progress? How come the youth do not get support, nor are they tuned to the processes of greatness and in coming up with to provide leadership? There is only one answer: poor leadership. That is to say, our institutions in this country were deliberately and with connivance of those at home who were in leadership at a certain time in our history, and then with some kleptomaniacs from the international scene who do come up with directions that destroy Nigeria thus far. So the younger ones, you should be seen to ask questions, as mentioned by the immediate past speaker. Seek for questions and look for answers. Be on your feet. But the major secret in the younger ones making success, or if they intend to make success, is your unity and your understanding of the problems. Unless you unite, form youth associations, let me tell you, there will be a stagnant problem. And these are realities of the moment. Unite, ask questions. Within the ages above you, outside the youth bracket, identify the likes of personalities like Mr. Chairman, and know that that is a reliable shoulder you can trust, you can rely upon. Add up your grievances, come up with your thoughts. After all, God Almighty said, when He created mankind and the world that is created the way it is, there are passages and openings for man to utilize, particularly when he is faced with difficulties. That is to say, there is no end to possibilities in the life of mankind, irrespective of the number of generations. That is to say, if you are looking at your life with a sense of hopelessness, then definitely you have not asked questions and you do not know. It is time to unite. It is time to know. It is time to chart a new course. It is time to know that there is a leadership that is sincere, scientific, that should come to the fore, along with a vibrant team of many young ones across Nigeria, to chart a new course and draw a line of west from what yesterday was all about. Think this way and begin to prepare. If we have to do it, and you are carrying fear with you, then definitely you will be left behind. But if you want progress, look for knowledge of where your country is, take away fear, and be on your feet. Identify your leaders that are honest. Come along with them. Fall and rise along with them. The destination will surely be before you, and you will smile, laugh, and celebrate at last. Let me give a small example of successes of many great countries today, which was as a result of vibrancy of young ones. Let me start with Africa, West Africa, or Nigeria. Most of the developmental infrastructures you see all across Nigeria, north and south, were actually established and achieved when most of the young leaders we have had then were within the bracket of the definition of youth from 18 to 39, some to 40 at that time, some to 42, 45 at that time because of the definition then. So most of the achievements we have had is as a result of the vibrancy of youthfulness. Otherwise, were the situation to be left into the hands of those who have had rusty hearts, stealing your resources, inflicting punishments and difficulties, exhibition and then displaying of heartlessness, lies telling and stealing your resources would have been the records we are to see, meaning we would by now be looking at a Bia Nigeria. So minus the youth activism and the youthfulness in the leaders we have had, Nigeria were not to be this far. Benin Republic, correction, Togo, at one time when in African countries, the major threats in Africa, indeed in the investment of the rest of the world in Africa, was a fear of changes of governments. Coups, rigging elections, appointment of stooges as leaders of countries in Africa was in thing then. Then suddenly, out of innovation, the activities of the youth in Togo became an issue. So the president of Togo decided to crown himself as the grand patron of National Youth Rally of Togo. That is to say, within the youth bracket and in every household, the then president of Togo had membership. So whenever something wrong was happening in the country, within the structure established from every local government or ward, in no time informations are passed through and the president will get aware and actions are taken. The man lasted in power. Before his death, he was crowned as the longest serving head of state in Africa, all because of the activities of the youth. It didn't stop there. As a result of this innovation by the youth, the entire world adjusted their information management in bringing their countries together, promoting unity, growth, and development, all because of the youth. Togo, at that time when he was alive, was in the whole world classified to be a country with the fastest intelligence flow. That was a feat, and the whole world learned from Togo, our neighbor. So today, minus the activities of the youth, that was not to be. The youth taught the whole world information management, a new formula that is adding up in keeping the world together. Another one, the Chinese ambassador has gone, unfortunately, but I will still talk. When Mao Zedong had his vision and realized that all they were doing in China was actually working backward then. They adopted communism, but they realized that that wasn't enough. So they now had to utilize the vibrancy in the young ones and come up with new formulas of teaching them something called sectional skill acquisition in different fields with the younger ones. So the younger ones now were operating in regions, and at the end of the day, it was the source with the spirit of communism, skill acquisition in the young Chinese, and then with the mastery of improving their laws, China began to grow. And today, China is the largest economy, courtesy the young ones. Japan, when the situation was totally hopeless, when in Japan, every single thing they gathered together was vanishing as a result of natural disasters, earthquake, volcanoes, and the rest of it. And they realized that they were running out of stock because in the ancient days, it was Japan that was ruling over China. But now that every country had gotten their own independence, then there was a problem. Japan was in a sorry state. The entire sky, everything in the horizon was very gloomy. Japan decided to say, we are people by culture, very proud people. Our pride will never diminish, and we will remain a referral point to our ancestors. So they closed their borders. Then they got the younger ones and also adopted a spirit called unism. In the unism, that is everybody caring for one another, elders believing that there is a ladder of progress, the old ones are pulling the young ones. Within the spirit of unism, they began to come up with innovations. Borders were closed, so everybody had to stay and learn. They reviewed their laws, and they reviewed their understanding on how to generate resources for their country so that they will remain relevant in world market. Japan began the idea of buying materials, well product, identified as useful around the world. And they started with two things. First was ships, 50-tonner ships. They took one, pieces it together, and began to build. Today, the fastest 50-tonner ship in the world is Japan. It takes them 18 months to do, while it takes any other country in the world 26 years to make one. As a result of that belief in unison, a responsibility given to the younger ones, they attend that feat. And the world today cannot but buy from them. They also began to go into electronics that looks stupid now when you look at it, but it was strange in the world. The youth were given the responsibility. So no holidays for them, but skill acquisition was pushing them to produce wristwatches that was electronic with small batteries then, in the 80s, I think. And then they graduated into numerous toys that the world saw and kept buying, and that brought wealth creation for Japan. And in Japan today, if you look at G7, you cannot but count them up. But what I'm talking about is that when you look at the map of Japan and you assess them from identifying natural rich countries, Japan do not have what Nigeria has. There is no comparison. But here we are, very rich, but very poor. Here is Japan, very poor, but very rich because of youth. Now, it is in understanding between the youth and their leaders that actually bridges the gap for development. You may ask yourself in Nigeria, where is Nigeria? What are the names of these elders who are in position of responsibility or as influencers in our society that are willing to subject themselves to the youth to carry them along? Which of these ideas are we going to use to make Nigeria great? What is the name of that blueprint that will direct Nigeria into speedy growth? Do we have it? If not, why don't we have it? Or who has it? Is there any of the elders that you believe who comes to the fore to sing holier than thou that has ever talked about having one for the younger ones to learn therefrom? If there is none, is Nigeria sleeping then? Or are we just there without direction? If you want to know the true definition of hopelessness, is when you see a directionless society. That society may grumble. They are there in the midst of resources, but they will be suffering because they have not synchronized their minds, their brains, to know that the frequency of development is in unity, understanding, respecting one another, and having laws that work, and having institutions that function. Before coming here, we were talking within ourselves and said, who can name one single institution in Nigeria that is working? One. Within the youth, I say this, if you can mention one right here, right now, an institution that is working, in the next 1 minute, while I talk, you own 100,000. Name one single institution that is functioning in Nigeria, one. Yes? Okay. For you to submit, even before I finish, and say no one, this calls for deeper reflection. It tells you we have to make some sacrifices to be able to cross this very point that we are in. Our journey to greatness is well defined. Well, we have so many obstacles created by ourselves. Those who believe stealing resources and destroying the country is the mission they have invested in, and nobody else can change it. Let me tell you with all sense of humility, pass this message to the younger ones across Nigeria today. Tell them that was yesterday. It is about time to wake up and do away with nightmare. It is scientific, the heart, and the scientific sequential approach or approaches to get that done is within us as Nigerians. Be on your feet, jack up the machine you are in, and then clinch onto shoulders such as the one, the convener who brought us here. Definitely we can see in the horizon a country the world will be very proud of, and that is Nigeria. If we set the pace for development, Africa will queue in. Then the identity and the pride of Nigeria, and indeed Africa, will be seen to be, and the world will but respect us. There is also a point I will not shy away from saying, because up until you bear your mind, and up until you are hated for telling the truth, then you are not making progress. Somebody said, if Africa is this rich, what happens if Africans wake up and now own true leadership, make our institutions function, and then began to feed the whole world? What becomes of other continents? The answer is they will be here. The Africa that they see today will be an Africa that will be in them. And the greatness that they believe they have, utilizing resources of Africa, will now be here with us. So we will now exchange, occupying our true positions. This is a big challenge. We need not to be smiling about it. We need not to be seen to be in pain and be smiling. And whatever those who think they own the lofty towers in Nigeria are the ones to determine which direction you go to. They steal your resources and you are busy saying Rankaidadesa. That is stupidity. Pardon my language. But by definition, it is him that inflicts pains in you, that destroys you, that you recognize as your king, that makes you be defined as a stupid fellow. I believe we are not. Let's wear our thinking cap. We can think better than those in lofty towers that destroys. We are patriots. Whosoever has suffered, whosoever can define suffering in his country, has actually attained some qualities of being a patriot. So I believe the greater percentage of our younger ones are naturally patriots. And let me say to you at this point, people with disability that the past speaker has spoken about, let's look at our country and look at all the structures made by government. Tell me the name of this office or offices or secretariats at national or state levels where simple arrangements are made with special lifts or staircases for people with disability. None. At our streets, car park, where are the arrangements for people with disability? You hardly can see one. When people with disability are moving on the street, people care less to help them and to stop. So the culture is not there. While a society that is apt, that should be seen to be respected, is a country that cares for the lesser privileged ones, so that all of us together, with that sense of humanity, we can inch together in making a reflection of an environment that the world can copy therefrom, and we can happily say we are exemplified human beings teaching the rest of the world. Now, having said all this, I was told before coming here that Mike Okiro were to be here. When I was within the bracket of youth, at the age of 37 to be precise, I was to be killed. Go ahead was given. He was a commissioner of police. He fought, and he said, I wish he's here. He said, I'm a father, and for me to sit down and see some people plan to incriminate young ones and to get them wasted is the last thing I can accept. For this statement and that care of a father to the youth, that's why I'm still alive today. Thank God Almighty. So let me tell you, reflect, get yourself together, connect with youth across Nigeria, associations that you are in, continue on your own to know that in you, all the qualities of success as far as modern time is concerned are in you. IT, AI are today ruling the world, and that is the new direction. The simple fact that you can operate telephone, as mentioned by one of the first speakers, that alone has put you on that frequency of development. You are marketable, and you can be. Let youth associations in Nigeria get themselves registered, get your grievances together. When next election comes, come together, present your requirements or your grievances, sign them into agreements. Let all those who may be contesting to sing and think with you. We shall support you to be there. If you do and emerge, these are what you must do for us. If there is this contractual agreement out of mutual respect, I can see a new Nigeria with responsible leadership, and we shall begin to have a new direction. I have quite a lot more to say, but I want to give opportunity for other speakers. So let me tell you, this country is great. Whosoever tells you Nigeria is poor, take a look at that person. You may end up seeing one or some of the qualities that I will talk about. He probably was there in government before. He must have belonged to some of the kleptomania groups that are exploiting Nigeria by the night. He must have been part of the contractors that are unseen, and your resources that are given in the morning, they are taken in the night. And then poor people who sleep in their houses will wake up to know that yes, there are resources, the money in their countries, but the literature that comes around is to say that there is nothing after all. People should wait for next budget and so many things like that. Where your thinking cap. Every question shall have answers. There are people you will get to give you answers. But today, if the youth of this country can unite and you begin to speak with one voice, there is no need for protest because you are more than 70% of the population of Nigeria. You are the ones that vote. So you are the kingmakers. It does not matter who makes any noise that he is there, he's an electee, he is a president, vice president, he is a senator, or they are ministers, appointees or electees. The kingmakers are the young ones.